Hey everyone, the metaphorical and physical dust has settled on Friday night. So without further ado, let's get on into it. The footage I edited together with my mom's and I's GoPro footage comes out to around 45 minutes in length, so it was an exciting one with a lot of cautions and some green flag runs and 2 red flags. So last week one was a little rough. But we did get the car around for this weekend. I don't know if you guys have heard, but we got involved in a couple incidents last weekend. But we pulled through and made it to the track this weekend for the UFO race, which is a special race. UFO rules have a little bit a different rule set package than what we normally run. We normally run with 358s, but this allowed people with up to around 430s compete as long as they added some extra weight. So some people had a little bit of an advantage, but keep that in mind as we move forward. I pulled pill number 1, so I got to start on the pole in the first heat, which was a huge turnaround from last week. Last week, I ended up starting in the last heat because I pulled 43, and there were only 26 cars there, so that was a rough time. In the first heat, I started on the pole, and JR Toner got a jump on me on the outside lane, and I just followed him around the rest of the heat race. So finished second in the heat and got around for the feature. While we were waiting to get around, they called us up, and they were going to have us pull sticks to see who started where, but instead they had a little kid do it. He went up into the announcer's booth, which was pretty cool, and he pulled straws, I guess, or I guess they were paint sticks, and they had drivers' numbers on it, and that decided who would start where, and so I ended up starting in second in the feature race. So in the feature, we did a 4-wide salute to the fans. First time I've ever done that, and for a crowd this big or with this as many cars as there were there, and the first time I've ever done it in a full-size car, I believe. So that was really cool. So the feature started. I followed the leader around quite a few laps. After the first caution, however, I missed my line and lost a few positions. I got back as far as 7th, but made my way back forward through a series of cautions. I think I was 5th or 6th, and on that restart, I was going into 3 and 4, and I saw the guys getting into a bit of heat in front of me. One guy got sideways, and another guy was right behind him. The other guy, they hit, and I almost had nowhere to go, but I jacked the wheel to the right as hard as I could, and I got by only scraping the one guy, but I knew there was going to be trouble. It was a bad one. A bunch of guys behind me got collected. I inherited second place, and from the backstretch, I just saw it took quite a while. It was a red flag, so we were sitting on the backstretch for quite a while, and so that was a long red flag. Feel bad for all those guys that got caught up in it, but so yeah, from there on, I pretty much followed the leader for the rest of the race. I'm pretty sure he had a bigger engine than me because he got the power to the ground so good on the end of the straightaways. He pulled away. In the corners, I could see that I would catch him just a little bit, but down the straightaways, he was gone. And I followed him for quite a bit, and we started lapping some guys, and then we got another caution, and then went back green. And around this time, my fire extinguisher came off the side of the cockpit. It started rolling around down by my feet. And under one of the cautions, I was able to try to pin it between the seat and the floor. But as soon as we started back up again, it rolled back down to my feet, and I got a huge push in 1 and 2. The car drifted way up into the high lane, and a couple guys got around me, and then the fire extinguisher went off. So I couldn't breathe for around a half a lap, and when the dust settled and I could see where I was going and I could breathe, I was in 5th. And coming out of 3 and 4, I got real loose. The power just didn't get to the ground at all. And I think it was because of our fuel load, but I might be mistaken on that. We're just going to have a look. But the track was drying out a bit. And anyway, I got real loose, and the car almost stopped coming out of the corner. And the guy behind me just had nowhere to go, and he got into the back of me, and I spun down into the infield. You can actually hear when I'm sitting in the infield, I give my fire extinguisher to one of the officials because I didn't want that rolling around down by my feet anymore, which was kind of funny now that I look back at it and watch the video.
Do me a favor? What's that? My fire extinguisher went off. Okay.
So yeah, I restarted in last place, which I guess was like 11th, and it's because, well, like 26 cars started, and or 24 cars started, and only 11 were present. So you can tell that's how big of a crash fest it was. So anyway, I started 11th and started picking off some guys, and I got up to around 7th, and I was trying to battle like the guys who were racing for, I think, 6th and 5th, I think. And they were too wide, and on the last lap, I tried to dive underneath them, and they just started coming down the track, and it was either turn one of them around or hit the Jersey barrier. So I slammed on the brakes and just winced for impact, and then just stopped at the Jersey barrier and brought it home in 11th, which the car is pretty much in one piece. Brought it home without any real damage. Just had a couple of little tweaks and bends we had to make to some of the panels on the rear end, and just had to replace the bumper on the back end. So other than that, the car is pretty much in one piece, and I think we had a pretty good night. Thankful for my team. Thanks for the equipment that I have. It was pretty awesome to be able to run out there second to some of the best limited late model drivers around. And I'm pretty sure that's a statement, being able to run behind those guys in only my third race. I mean, I was able to keep up with him, but he had a bigger motor than me, and that was horsepower I just couldn't compete with. So I know our day's coming sooner or later. I mean, we've just been so close. There's 3 times in a row, or 2 times in a row. Last week was just rough, but 2 times in a row we've been close, so I think it's a good omen for the rest of the season, and I hope to bring another update for you guys. Oh, and one more thing that came out of last week, besides all the damage and everything, we did get a new sponsor for last week. Brubacher does heavy equipment, and they do also some contracting, and they do heavy equipment operation. So those guys came on with a pretty decent sized sponsorship, so big thank you to them for jumping aboard, and hopefully we can see you guys out at the track, and see all you guys come out and support not just me, but also the track. So anyway, see you guys next week. Hopefully I'll have another one of these, and hopefully it'll be a good weekend. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.